Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse Podcast, women who refuse to disappear. You are either creating your life or living one you inherited. Friction management. It matters because breakthrough is your way out of drift. See the drag? Return to say, let's go. I am Sandy Parker Martinez, and I am so happy to be here with Dr. Teresa Woolard on the Pink Lady Posse Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Sandy. Glad to be here.
Now, it's so crazy because we share a tool for promoting ourselves as speakers.
Yes.
And I go, gosh, who is that woman? And we had a conversation, and I was so enamored by her approach that I said, okay, you got to be on the podcast. So Dr. Teresa Woolard is, in fact, a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. And an author and a speaker and an innovator gone rogue. That's what I'm going to say. Because what I'm sure you know, Teresa, and I experience is there's so many possibilities. You kind of have to really start with getting clear. And then when I heard you get clear by looking at animals.
Yes.
Okay. So give me some context for that and tell me about your book. Let's start there.
Okay, sounds good. I practiced small animal veterinary medicine for almost 20 years. And I had a special interest and did extra work and extra learning in animal behavior because unfortunately it is the number one killer of our pets. And, because poor behavior usually ends up, pet owners can't tolerate that, or they try, and then they can sometimes the pets can become a liability. So they end up euthanizing them. And so I got interested in animal behavior. And before this, I'll back up a little bit. Ever since age 19, which has been quite a few years, Sandy, now, I have been a student of personal development, just like a sponge. And when I was learning more about animal behavior and getting in the weeds of animal behavior and practicing it and bringing some of these techniques and recommending some of these techniques to my clients, I was starting to realize, well, geez, these are so simple and we can make animals change from bad to good in many cases using these techniques. Why aren't humans adopting some of these techniques? Because we struggle with change in many ways. It's hard for us to change. Yet I could see what we were able to do with animals in the animal world. So I'll never forget this one. It wasn't even a particular case. It just hit me upside the head one day in the exam room in the clinic when I thought, why don't I write a book about how we humans can be more like our animal friends when we're wanting to make a change, maybe adopt similar techniques and think more like them, where they don't overthink things. They just go for it. They just do. And that's where I was seeing, I think, a lot of human people, human friends, family members that I knew were afraid to take that leap into following their dreams, into doing what they wanted on their heart, but they never took that leap. And I wanted to help some of these people. I wanted to help women who were coming into my business and saying, Teresa, I have this idea for a business, but I don't know where to start. Teresa, I heard you wrote some books. I have an idea for a book, but I don't know where to start. I think they think it's a bigger hurdle in their head than it really is. So all these reasons, all these experiences and thoughts and hurdles that I was seeing other people struggle with, I thought, why don't I make it easier? Take personal development, add an animal twist, and keep it simple. Because if your pet can do it, you should be able to do it, is my philosophy, right? So I started my first version of my book 12 years ago. My mom was the only one who read that book. She loved it. She's a big pet lover. I went to a writer's workshop looking to maybe get it published. And the speaker and host of that speaker event said, if you don't have 10,000 followers, forget it. And that was 12, 14 years ago. So like most of us, I put my dream on the shelf and didn't touch it until a couple years ago. My mom passed 5 years ago, and maybe it was a tapping of her on my shoulder that something kept telling me that I need to get that book out. So I rewrote the whole book. I hired a book coach, a hybrid publishing team, and I'm proud to say I finally launched my book. This is called Dig, Leap, Play.
Yay!
A pet lover's guide to discovering your gift, because I believe everybody has a gift, achieving your dreams, and experiencing joy. I really think we can look towards nature and our animal friends to bring more joy and fulfillment into our lives and kind of model them in a way to be able to go after our dreams. Don't put those hurdles up in front of us. And so I kind of bring in some of those animal behavior techniques, some of the things we use in practice, what we can learn from our animal friends, not to treat us like animals, but to learn from them. Keep it simple, right?
Hey,
And
my animals, they run the world and they matter so much to me. And why not learn from them?
right. I just believe that we put up hurdles when it doesn't need to be. And I feel so many, especially women, I'm going to say I wrote this book for middle-aged women who are maybe stuck, feeling unfulfilled for whatever reason, don't know where to start, don't have that guidance, feel that it's too late. And I want them to realize that it's not too late. It's never too late to begin again. I have reinvented myself and done many career pivots. So again, I feel privileged and I feel I've done my duty to be able to talk about this and speak about this because I've been through a major career shift. I left practice to open a marketing company and a publishing business. I've opened restaurants.
What?
I've competed on national fitness stages at age 50. So I've written 5 books. I've sold 400,000 copies of my books just in Canada in the vet world, and my book became an Amazon bestseller. So, and I'm nothing special. So I feel, if from my experiences, I can bring some of my learnings, shorten the curve for many people, women in particular, like I said, to let them realize that they can still go after their dreams, that not to be afraid. We're here for you. And I'm hoping my book can help. And I'm also hosting webinars and upcoming workshops to help women who are at that stage. And I think there's many of them. The research shows there's lots of women who are looking for help here, looking for a way to kind of get, whether ignited, motivated, have that confidence to be able to take that leap and get into action. I don't care what age you are. I feel we're at this age, Sandy, I think we have got those life experiences. We have attained a lot of knowledge, skills, experience that we are in a prime position. Like you said, there's lots of opportunities that I think we should be teaching. We should be sharing. We could be helping educate others and help bring them along, maybe the younger generation. There's so much we can offer and help. In fact, I've been on some speaking stages talking to retired persons. And I had one woman reach out to me recently. She was in attendance a couple months ago when I was doing a talk about the fact that you can teach an old dog new tricks. And she got so inspired by my message that she went back and reignited her real estate license. She's 62 and she is like on fire. She is so excited. She is so happy. And she wanted to share that with me, and she's going to be one of my guests on my webinar and my workshop just to share her experience and she's so glad she took that leap. She could have easily talked herself out of it.
And there's about 5 paths I want to go down at once, which is the way I live anyway. But the first one is mathematically speaking. I'm just going to throw this in the context. Back when I was looking at audiences 50 plus, Perplexity says the average age of a United States woman is 86.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're starting at 60,
mm-hmm.
you have 26 years, actuarially speaking.
Yes.
To live. Okay, so put that in perspective. That's longer than it took for me to have a baby, raise a baby, send a baby to college. I mean, that's a lot of years.
Yes.
So the whole
Yes.
notion that we're out of time is
That's what I'm saying. It's never
ridiculous. And I
right.
applaud you for that. And the timing is beautiful because there's so many of us, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, women over 50, women over 60, women over 70. Come on.
Mhm.
And I want to learn from you today a few things in your book or stories you might share about what can I learn from an animal?
Right. Absolutely. Well, one, so like I titled my book, Dig, Leap, Play. These are all things that our animal friends do. And the dig, just like a dog would dig for a bone, which is their treat, right? I think for us, we talked at the beginning about clarity. That's how I realized when I was unhappy in my career, not feeling fulfilled, feeling that something was missing. I modeled them and did my own dig. And that's about self reflection, journaling, kind of
Mm.
peeling the layers back of Teresa and who am I at this stage of my life? I knew who I was at age 19 when I got started in my career,
Mhm.
but in my late 30s, early 40s, when I first came across this, that there was something missing, that's when I did my next big dig was I'm a different person at this age than I was at age 19. Just like now, in my early 60s, I'm different than I was in my 40s.
Right.
So I think we need to get into this habit of doing this reflection periodically, maybe more often than, once a year at New Year's, and really make sure that what we're doing is aligned to our vision, our dreams. It incorporates our gift because I think that's really important. I believe we all have a gift to share and use, and we should be using it for our own personal fulfillment and growth. But then it also has got to be something that whether we're looking to volunteer, start a new career, start a business, write a book, that it's aligned to our values. Because again, I think if we can do something that is using our gifts, our skills, our knowledge, and it's aligned to our values, we're going to feel that joy and fulfillment that we deserve. We're going to enjoy working on it, promoting it, and helping others with what we have to offer.
Well,
And then
let me just say, I was telling you about my podcast producer who's amazing. And this morning she goes, "How's it going?" I'm like, "I'm having the time of my life. Like,
see, there
I
you
can
go.
hardly sleep because I want to get up, right?" And so my book is finished. It started. It's to the editor, and it's just like, oh, that whole I'm alive to life.
Yes, there you
It-
go. See,
It's
and
juicy. It's so fun.
exactly. And so that's what I want. That's what my book and my speaking is all about. My upcoming webinar and workshop is to empower women to be able to experience what we're experiencing, Sandy. I'm the same, and like we talked about also, there are so much opportunities. People just need their eyes widened. They need to open up and just be open to hear that all about the opportunities and possibilities right now at our fingertips, to be able to take advantage of the tools and technology now as well. I got fascinated and very interested, and this is where the curiosity like a cat, right? I got curious about AI and automation over a year ago, and I'm
Mm.
not a techie person. I never have been, but I got curious, so I wanted to learn. And I got 3 degrees. You think I'd be all learned out, but when you're curious about something, and I think that gives us juice and passion. And then I started seeing opportunities on with what I'm learning, how I could help others. So veterinary clinic owners, business owners, other women who are wanting to maybe start a career. It is so much easier now. Don't do the stupid thing that I did at owning 2 restaurants and brick and mortar, paying rent, having a team of 17, but team members. And that's a lot of work, 7 days a week. We don't have to do that anymore. It is so much more affordable. it is so much easier now with the tools at our disposal. Look at us, Sandy. That's just how we met, is in an AI group. And in fact, I was impressed how many white-haired, gray-haired women were in our study group, in our our AI learning group. I was so impressed, and I
Yeah.
love it
Well,
because
the other thing I'll say is that what I'm learning about myself is, they say buy this and you get the download. I don't watch it. I want you. So here's the point. Find what works for you.
right,
And I'll tell
right,
you how many things I bought off Facebook that are going to solve every problem. But
yes,
what I need is someone to do it with me.
Quick question. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift through this season of life? Not unhappy, just slightly checked out. Yeah, that. At Think Pink, we don't fix women. We help them come alive again. Honest conversation. Easy occasions for discovery. No duct taping a smile over burnout. No reinvent your entire life by Tuesday. Just people who care and gentle nudges that help you feel like yourself again. I mean, the truth is, you can't be your best self by yourself. If that sentence made something in you nod, we made a free Think Pink starter gift just for you. Come take a look. No fixing, just connection. Go to pinkladyposse.com and click on Think Pink. Stay awake to your own life and not alone.
But
yes,
what I need is someone to do it with me.
right,
And I think a lot of times when you have no idea the concept of AI and you do an AI, whatever you call it, it's a swirl of so much, sort of the notion you're left behind, your time has passed, I'm not techie, I
yes,
can't catch up. Oh, that's for my grandkid. I mean, all that.
right,
For
right,
me, I needed one person to just slowly walk me through, do
yes,
this. How does that sound? And that is available. So I just want anybody who's listening to go, I'm throwing my hands up. Well,
yes,
I actually want and need teachers who will go with me on a journey.
right,
Because I'm not going to watch a webinar and go, woohoo, I'm in it.
yes.
Which is
It can,
where the role of other women helping other women is
we get
so
it.
beautiful.
Yes,
So not
yes,
to stop you, but I just want to encourage anyone who doesn't even know what the heck we're talking about. Perfect.
yes,
Call one of us and
yes,
let's just have a Zoom session and let me just show you one thing.
yeah.
Because what I am seeing, and I know you see this too, is that even the simplest things can be more efficient.
Absolutely. And
So
it's easier than you think. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you're trying to do too many things, like an octopus on roller skates, and I've been there too. It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially in this AI automation technology. It's very overwhelming. However, again, once you're clear on what you need, what you want, who you are, what you want to do, and you can talk to people who might be able to guide you better and help you along the way, you'll start seeing the benefits of being able to adopt some of these technologies or whatever you want to do, right? But I do agree that there's so much opportunity, and I think even for middle-aged and older people, because we have that experience and knowledge we can bring to the table, now we can productize it, if you will, and use our knowledge and skills to teach it in a different way that can work for other people,
glory
right?
be, glory be. Okay, so back to the book. I saw
Yes.
the title, Dig,
Leap, play.
Leap. Okay, what's the leap and what's the
So
play?
yeah, so we talked about the dig, is that kind of doing that self-reflection, deep dig into who you are, what you want, your vision. That's really important, aligning to all your values, your strengths. The leap is then finally taking the action step. And this is often the missing piece for many people. They have it, they keep it up in their head, and they do nothing with it. Been there, done that as well. But again, if you throw a ball to a lab off a dock into the lake, more often than not, they're not going to stand there and think, should I jump? No, they're going to go and just leap for that frisbee or that ball. They don't overthink it. So again, this is where we can learn from our animal friends. Sometimes you just got to go for it. And what I talk about is putting that leap plan in place and doing it in bite-sized steps. Small, and this is how we can even teach animals, believe it or not, to how to do a somersault. You're not going to tell them, hey, Fluffy, I want you to do a somersault today. Go for it. No, we have to train them one step at a time. And I've watched a video of a behaviorist training a dog on how to do an actual somersault. That's not a natural thing for them to do. I think you'd agree. But when we can train them a bite-sized step and give lots of rewards along the way, it's called successive approximation. They learn what to do and they eventually are doing a somersault. And I think we can take the same learning for us. Small baby steps, bite-sized step is what I call them, and lots of rewards along the way towards our goal, towards our dream, whatever. But I think we also need to have fun as we on our journey. When I was training for my fitness competition, while running 2 restaurants, mind you, I would work hard all week doing my 2-hour workouts every day, following a really strict meal plan. And all I was focused on, Sandy, was that treat and what we call a cheat meal, and in the animal world, my treat at the end of the week, if I did good, if I had achieved what I was supposed to achieve for that week. I was so focused, like a dog looking for a bone, or, was that cheat meal on a Friday afternoon. I could have a little piece of chocolate cake. I could have a glass, 6 ounces of red wine. That was my treat. But because I was so focused on that, and that was my reward, I could stay the course. So the play part is encouraging us to reward ourselves along the way. Don't wait till just the end goal to reward yourself with like a trip or a new outfit. I believe if we can reward ourselves with little mini rewards, little tidbits of rewards along the journey, we're probably going to stay the course and eventually reach our end goal.
Well, it's so funny you mentioned dog with a bone, because my husband goes, man, when you get on something, it's like a dog with a bone. I'm like, I'm on it. I'm on it. And I think I mentioned earlier, I woke up in the middle of the night, like, I am so excited about my life. I can hardly sleep, which of course sleep. But it's like I woke up and I went, oh my gosh, I forgot that fabulous whatever. I wish every woman was living that kind of life.
I agree. I agree. Because it's possible.
And how many women love their dogs or cats?
Yes.
Like we would do anything. I have a friend and she goes, I cook chicken every day and I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, why? She goes, because my animals. And I'm like, so how can I move into the context of that kind of care that I am as valued as those beautiful little animals?
Right.
I mean, you must see that.
It's understanding your worth, that you do have a lot to offer. And that's where the dig part is, why the dig part is so important. It's not only understanding you, but it's realizing you have a lot to offer and you're unique. And, and I think it's just, once you realize that and you have a goal or a plan or something, an idea, then I'd say go for it. You have no idea where that's going to end up. When I went from full-time to part-time practice, because I had this idea to start my own veterinary marketing company, had no background in marketing whatsoever, but I had this idea, I had a creative side that wasn't being tapped. So I wanted to exercise that along with the knowledge that I had as a veterinarian. So I started this marketing company. I was working with animal health and pet food companies. And then one day a colleague of mine reached out. She was also a vet. Unfortunately, her dog had died and she had this idea to write a book. And she knew and had heard that I was working with graphic designers, editors at the time. So she came to me with this idea and I loved it, but she couldn't afford to pay me to put this together. So we ended up partnering. We wrote that book together. We were two moms and two vets. We'd put the kids to bed because our kids were little at that time. And we would write, we would get on the phone. Actually, we didn't have Zoom at the time.
Yeah.
We would get on the phone and we would work on our books in the evenings and on weekends. And that first book was about pet loss and grief and how families can deal with the loss of a pet. It went on to be a huge seller. And we ended up writing 4 more books, selling 400,000 copies of our books. We were consulting with animal health and pet food companies. We created products. We were talking and speaking at, the vet schools and about euthanasia and how to properly, do that as an end of life, to make it beautiful, an end of life journey. And so we had no idea when we first started off that this was going to go like to that extreme, to that incredible success. So that's what I'm saying. When you're aligned to your vision, your values, and your gifts, the world is your oyster. Anything can start happening, and it will. Opportunities will start opening up that you would have no idea could happen. My partner, she is still doing that business 20 years later. She went more into the pet grief. She's a pet grief counselor. She's also a vet. But she's a pet grief counselor. She just wrote a chapter in a huge textbook for veterinary technicians. So again, like one idea, one baby step in the right direction, you'll never know where maybe it could lead you to some wonderful things.
Wow.
Right?
I'm like, what? And so I'm going to bring in my framework and ask you about it.
Okay.
So, I help people identify drag.
Okay.
And when something's harder than it should be, or it feels like there's a drag on it, I call it friction.
Yes.
And there's 3 kinds of friction: curbs. There are things out there that you can trip over, or that are in place, or complications or systems. Then there's wobbles, which are what happens inside. Like, we talk about, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, the syndromes and all that. It's like I take something and make it mean something about me, which it may or may not. And then grinders, which are those things that just over time grind you down. But when I look at it, so now I'm putting the lens of animals on top of my framework, right? I'm going, my dog doesn't care about a curb.
That's right.
He's not even like, what was that?
That's right.
And then I don't know, do they have those internal wobbles or lack of confidence, or make it mean something about them?
They have instincts, right? So, and I talk about that in my book. I call it our animal instinct, our intuition. And that is something we could definitely learn from our animal friends about as well, too, is we need to trust our animal instincts more than what we are. It's our bodies know us better than we know ourselves. It's our head that gets in the way. So learning to trust your animal instincts, your intuition, definitely, and to make better decisions, and trust yourself, that self-trust. So animals do have that instinct for sure, to know what's safe, what's not safe. And the same, we have that as well. But yeah, you're right. The curbs, the animals don't care about that. They'll just walk over it. So that's what I'm saying. We put those hurdles in our heads. The same thing with the imposter syndrome and the messages we're telling ourselves. We put that in our heads. And I talk about building a positive P-A-W-S, positive mindset.
Oh, come on, that's so cute.
Before we take the leap to whether it's a new career, a fitness journey, writing a book, it's about focusing on positive beliefs, throwing out the negatives, because that's not going to serve you. So it's having to tell ourselves the right things so that we can build that positive mindset, build that positive muscle in our brain, and forego the negatives, right? And then what I call building, after you've built your positive mindset, now we need to move into a fetch mindset. Like, I'm ready to go for it. Like, now
I love that so much. A fetch mindset.
Right. because I fear it's the taking an action that we are so afraid to do. We keep it in our head so much, it weighs us down. Like you were saying, it weighs us down. It becomes heavy because we keep it up in our head. But I tell you, once you start taking those bite-sized steps, you will be surprised and amazed how now your confidence starts kicking in, and now you're rewarding yourself. Ooh, I did it. I'm going to go reward myself with a latte. Now it's becoming fun. Now you want to start stretching. I say one of the chapters is stretch like a dachshund. I think you learn and we grow by stretching ourselves. We stretch our comfort zones. And when we do, we should be rewarding ourselves even for those things. So now, when I was on my fitness journey and I was just wanting to get to that end, to the stage, doing the posing, and I won awards, right? But what I realized afterwards, it was the journey that was the true award rather than the trophy at the end. So this is why I'm saying that journey toward your dreams, your goals, whatever they may be, that is actually the best part, because you're starting to see yourself grow. You're rewarding yourselves, and then you might be getting compliments from others. Hey, Sandy, you are like shining. You're glowing. What are you doing? What's going on? How come you have so much passion? Right? I want to have that passion too. Like, then you know you're onto something. When you start getting others noticing, you're on the right track, girl.
Yeah, well, and you don't know I have a dachshund, which is hilarious because there's nobody that stretches like a dachshund or fetches like a golden retriever. Oh my gosh, my little golden retriever. So, and then the third of my framework is, so there's curbs, wobbles, and grinders, and that's what grinds you down over time. My dogs do not have regret.
No.
They do not have resentment.
That's right.
They have, you're eating a steak, that looks delicious to me.
Yes. And that's why I said play, but we don't put enough play in our life. We need to enjoy life more. We need more joy. We need more fulfillment. And this is where I believe if we're doing things that are aligned to our gifts and our values, and we're achieving our goals and our dreams, and we're keeping it simple and fun, we're going to have more joy and fulfillment in life. And that's the whole premise of the book is, and that's how I want to live my life. I want to wake up and excited to get up. I want to be so filled with passion, energy, juice. And I want that for others as well. And if my framework can help, and my perspective, my energy, whatever helps, then I feel like that is my gift to give the world is empowerment and that encouragement, and get them to see something that will actually help them take that leap towards their dreams so they have more fulfillment in life.
One thing I've noticed, and there's a phrase I have in my book, which is, we discovered that having it all became doing it all.
Yes.
That's a grinder, by the way.
Yes.
And I just had the experience of handing off my technology. Because I'm a graphic artist and I can do the websites. And you know what? Just because I can does not mean I should.
Exactly. Do the things that you find fun.
And I handed it off and I went, ah. But this morning I woke up and I go, I have this block of time to do something that matters to me, instead of trying to figure out how to do an automation of 3 email series of blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
So I also want to say, you don't have to be the one to do it. That's a beautiful thing about AI, is they are now bringing solutions forward that make what we want to happen more easily.
That's right.
And I know you're seeing that because you're deeper in it than I am.
And I love it. I love efficiency. I love having an idea and not having those hurdles, those curbs getting in my way, because maybe I'm impatient. I want to see them happen now. And that's possible. I have an idea. I don't have to go and hire a graphic designer and all these other, right? I can do this if I wanted. I can do it myself. Or like you say, get an expert to do it for you, whatever. But now your ideas can come to fruition so much easier, so much less expensive than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. So this is why we're saying there's so much opportunity. It's like you're limited by your imagination. So for creatives like us, this is like awesome because we're not being limited now. Anybody can win
I will
here.
say, you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Agreed.
In terms of self-development and self-reflection, give some space to what you don't know that you may not know.
Exactly.
But at this point, we think we know it all, right? I mean, do you remember back, for some reason, this came into mind, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan.
Yeah, I know that one.
Why?
True.
Let's say this is mine to do and this is other.
That's right. Focus on your strengths. Focus on your gifts.
Well, Teresa, gosh, I'm like invigorated with possibility from being on this with you, and grateful that I'm surrounded by women like you that have possibility alive, that have your best life alive.
Agreed. And you too, Sandy, you're an incredible example of what's possible for women, that are, most women would be maybe sitting in a rocking chair knitting, yet you're in AI and automation, you're hosting podcasts, you are so excited, you can't sleep at 2 a.m. Like, that's more women need to hear about what is possible in their life too.
All right, so here is your big moment, Miss Dr. Teresa.
Yes.
I like to end with, if someone's listening, and they will be, this is your one shot, right? This is your, okay, sum it all down. This is what I want you to hear, sister. And it is this from Dr. Teresa Woolard. And what would that be?
It'll be my quote that I write in my book. And that is, if you don't take the leap, you won't reap the reward. So in other words, go do it.
Ba-bam. Isn't that? Hey, Teresa, thank you so much for being with me.
It was a pleasure, Sandy. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.